My very special guest this evening is Rosemarie D'Alessandro. And Rosemary had a beautiful daughter named Joan Angela D'Alessandro. And the foundation is called the Jones Joy Foundation. Joan was 7 years old, a beautiful little girl and a proud brownie when she was delivering boxes of Girl Scout cookies to a neighbor who lived across the street. Only across the street, 3 houses down from Joan's house. The neighbor, a Tappan Zee High School chemistry teacher, and I don't want to mention his name. I call him the killer. He's no longer on this earth. Thank God. Thank goodness. Joseph McGowan sexually molested and murdered Joan on April 19th, 1973, on Holy Thursday. Joan's body was found in a ravine, in a ravine, I would say, 3 days later on Easter Sunday. In a sepulchre-like space or a ravine in a large rock, next to a large rock. Rosemary will explain that to us at Harriman State Park, New York. Ever since then, Rosemary has been fighting for the protection of children. And we're going to talk to Rosemary about the different legislations that have been passed. And tonight we're also going to talk about this fantastic book that Rosemary has authored, I should say. It's called The Message of Light Amid Letters of Darkness. It's now available. It's an intriguing, amazing story of a mother's fight for her child all these years after, and continues on to fight for other parents' children. So without further ado, let me welcome my wonderful guest, Rosemarie D'Alessandro. Hello, Rosemary.
Hi, everybody. Hi. How are you, Lori? I hope
Hi,
that
I'm
you're
doing
having a
well,
good day.
Rosemary. It's always, yeah, well, it's raining, right? Is it raining where you are? It's raining here.
Yeah, very rainy. And I was putting some thoughts together,
Good, good. And
to talk to the folks about the book, and
yes.
just to let you know that, the book really, it starts with Joan, and it starts with me, and it starts with the community and the family, but it really is about everybody. It really covers society. And that's my goal for this book, that everyone that reads it can get something from it to help in their lives where they can make a difference even if they don't feel they have that worth. And I hope that it gives them a sense of power to read this book, and also to see that they can make a difference in society, and then we will have a society of hope, of care, of all the good stuff like love, without hate, without so much hate.
And without violence on children. I mean, this is, your story is a story that touches everyone. When we hear children, any children that have been abused, I mean, even children that are not necessarily only Joan's age. And I'd like you to explain to our listeners about Joan, what happened, a little bit about her personality, and why it was so important that you had many legislations
here it is.
passed.
This
Many
is
legislations
real, right?
passed.
I'm going to talk about something real. And what happened to Joan is about the worst that could happen to any human being. The way she died. It doesn't mean that there aren't other children that have gone through such brutality and going through it right now, with wars.
Yes.
But
yes.
I know it like, really it's there. It's like, at the tip of my finger. So I could talk about it, and I could talk about, like, the inspiration that she has given to me. And right now I'm a voice. When I'm talking to all of you, it's really not me talking. It's really Joan and me. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
yes.
in that respect, that is like a very spiritual, but it's real, and it's tangible, and it gives you an idea how if Joan inspired me, what kind of child was she? Well, she definitely, 7.5 is when her life finished here, and she went into the next world, like eternity. And she had like a very sense. She had a sense of people. Very, very astute and gifted socially with social intelligence and emotional intelligence. So she had a leadership to her, which I was told by her ballet teacher, and she was a social type, I was told by the second grade teacher, but I knew that. And she could get, like, the little kids together on the playground that were not playing, and she could get them playing without feeling uncomfortable and then being part of the group, because to her, she was she was like one of the leaders of the group. She didn't even know about leader, because she was not a child that had an attitude around her. Even children at that age could start having an attitude.
Sure.
And she was like, didn't have self-importance, but yet she didn't need to. Someday, if you ever want to see a picture of her, you could go on to jonesjoy.org. That's JOAN.org, and that's the website. And you will see a picture of her, and you'll say, oh, my gosh, you'll see the presence that she has.
Beautiful child.
It's natural. It's very, very inspiring.
And, what's inspiring about Joan's death is that because through Joan, you were able to establish many legislations for Joan's Law, April 3rd, 1997, Joan's Law Federal. The first one was in New Jersey. Second one was federal, October 30th, 1998. Justice for Victims Law, New Jersey, November 17th, 2000. Joan's Law, New York.
Someone got $10 million as a victim because the criminal had millions of dollars that he inherited. So the victim was able to get $10 million. Before I developed that law, the statute of limitation was only 2 years. Now in New Jersey, there's no more statute of limitation. So if you know of someone that has been murdered and the perpetrator has monies, please tell that person about the Justice for Victims Law.
Okay.
And then you could always get back to me with jonesjoy.org, and I could, help you.
But you did not receive that, did you, Rosemarie? You didn't receive
it was not retroactive. He had spent all the money, and in because in the book, there were 325 letters that he wrote.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
And someone brought them to me at the yard sale. And it was the son of the pen pal that he was writing to for 34 years.
That the murderer of Joan was writing to.
Yes, the murderer,
Yes.
And then what happened was this son, he found them after the mother died when he was cleaning up her house. So he didn't know that she was doing this. But in one of those letters, see, in these letters you get a lot of information. And he talks about how, like, he takes the smallest thing, like he'll say, oh, I really don't like it here, and I hope to get into another place. And meanwhile, he's having the radio there, and he's getting books there, and he's having people to come to visit him, and priests and other people, and he's getting food. And meanwhile, you'll see, like, I put, like, in my life, because this book is like, it's a true crime, but it's also a memoir.
Well, of course it is. It's a combination of both.
And I talk about myself.
Right.
And I say, you know what? I don't know that. I don't know about that. I hardly had that. I was here as a victim, right?
Yes.
And no one, really came to see how I was.
Right. Rosemarie, hold on, please. We're going to go to a break. And when we come back, we want to hear all about the book. And we're
Okay.
also going to talk about a few other laws that you passed. And that's what you've been doing for your life since Joan's death. And it's
Not my
helped many.
life. No, I started the movement 30 years ago.
Well, but that's a long time. That's someone's life. Please stay with us. We're visiting with Rosemarie D'Alessandro. The Message of Light Amid Letters of Darkness is Rosemarie's book. Okay, be careful driving home. Everybody be careful out there. It's very, very rainy, very slippery. And we are visiting with Rosemarie D'Alessandro, the author of The Message of Light Amid Letters of Darkness, and it is now available. You can buy the book now, and Rosemary's going to tell us where and how, and a little bit of a synopsis about what the book is about. We started that. Thanks for being here tonight, Rosemarie.
So glad to be with you.
Thank you.
Just to, be part, of this whole gathering and, talk about the book.
Yes.
Not only as a book, but as a means to get something out of it for you and to understand and know a little bit about Joan, who can really you can almost feel her like your friend.
Absolutely.
Like spiritually, because she came as a white butterfly. And there's a story about that in the book. And the butterfly is a symbol of hope and love, joy, and that's her. So I saw a white butterfly at the site where she was found. This is in the book. And it was, I wasn't there for 8 years. It's up in the mountains where her body was left. And I came up the hill. And remember, I hadn't been there for 8 years because I have a autoimmune neuromuscular disease called myasthenia gravis.
Right.
So I get up there, and I'm there that day. It was so wonderful, strong enough. And guess what? I see this white thing flying on a very cloudy, kind of rainy day in April. And it was a day that was Easter, like significant, because she was found on Easter.
Yes.
So we went on Easter, like the 22nd. That was the day she was found. And guess what? The white thing that was flying was a white butterfly. And I don't know if you know they're white butterflies, but I didn't know at that time. And I knew then she wanted me to be her voice and to get the word out. And I knew then that was going to be, the mission. And it started 30 years ago. Well, it started
30 years ago, you said.
Like 30 years ago when I started going for laws.
And we want to hear about the book, but we also, Rosemarie, we want to hear about these laws. Can you just briefly tell us about all the laws that you have had legislated to protect children and to protect, up to a certain age? Also, I think it's very interesting to let our listeners...
The way it happened was...
Well, wait, I want...
93, I had to fight. We had to fight to keep the killer in prison.
Well, this is what I want to talk about
started.
also. Yes.
And with the movement, then I saw we needed change. If there were changes in the laws, then people wouldn't have to deal with what we had to do, because everything was not retroactive. But it was time for change. So I started going for change. A lot of people got involved. We started the Joan Angela D'Alessandro Foundation, and the laws we had one in 97, one in 98, one in 2000, one in 2004, and one in 2017. And right now, I'll be working on a law in say, the beginning of January.
Oh, that's great.
So all these laws have to do with the safety of children, the respect of children, and not just saying, this is what we should do, and you hear so much talking, but something was being done by all of us, like thousands of people.
Yes.
And I started it, with Joan by my side. And what they are about is says, like, the perpetrator that does the most horrible thing to a child, like we're talking about sexual assault and murder, just is not going to ever be paroled, ever. So that means he will
Good.
die in prison. Absolutely clear.
Good.
That will mean he will die in prison, and that's it. No,
What law
no
was
more.
that?
Like we
What
got
law-
14 years.
What
You know,
law was
Jones
that,
killer,
Rosemary?
Jones killer got 14 years, which
That was
meant
supposed
life.
to be life. Right.
But
That,
this
and you
is
changed
life,
that.
which means life. And
You
when I say
changed
it,
that.
oh, I feel so relieved. It's going to, helping so many people. I know now it's going to be helping a case here in New Jersey. A little 2-year-old.
Really?
Oh yeah. And now he was sentenced, and he's going to get life, and it's going to be Jones Law.
And which law was this? This was Jones Law Federal?
This is Jones Law. This is under the first one because this is a baby too.
Okay.
The expansion of Jones Law was in 2017. That's for all minors.
Okay.
And then there was one in New York State under 14, and we're going for that to, all minors. We're going to be fighting for that in January. And then the Justice for Victims Law. The Justice for Victims Law was in 2000. That just happened the other day. We had an anniversary. It's been out there 23 years.
November
now,
17th,
victims can get compensation from the perpetrator if he has any money where he wrote a book, and he can't keep it. It's going to go to the victim's family.
That's
but the
terrific.
victim's family has to know about this law. We have it in New Jersey, and please go on jonesjoy.org. You could get onto the website. The website will lead you to information where you can learn about things by reading there, but don't worry, you can get in touch with me through an email or phone number there.
Okay, that's great.
So they really want you to use it.
Yeah, it's important that people know these are available, and they don't know. They don't know these legislations.
In the book, a lot in the book, paralleling to his letters.
Tell us about the book, Rosemary.
He's talking about a mouse going up a pipe, and he's having fun with it. And meanwhile, I'm over there, working on laws, and he's saying, "Oh, look at her, she's on the RD." That's the only time I mentioned is, and never
because
ever,
you RD,
ever
yes,
any
Rosemary
remorse, nothing, no, and nothing to Joan. Everybody, there's this is like this is absolute. You see these letters, and you almost think it's like he's just talking about common things and chatting. But then as you read them, you realize how the mind of a killer works. There's nothing ever mentioned about what he did to Joan or that she existed, you see?
Well, do you think he blocked that out? Did he block that out of his mind, or he just...
It's more than that. It's more than that, Lori.
Yeah.
It's so like, it's so...
narcissistic.
It's like
he was a narcissist.
Beyond.
Yes.
Beyond.
Because nothing else mattered but him. So he doesn't even
but it's more than that. It's almost like he can have such a way to be so appealing, and yet he's having visitors, and he has friends, and then they said, "Oh, I'll help you with the testifying at the trial if there's a trial." Yeah, I know. But he's not real social. He's not. He's kind of like more. But he has that sense there. It's very interesting. If you read them, and if you feel uncomfortable reading all of them, what you do is take a significant letter. So you take one letter with my parallel. For instance, when he's talking about like things you could see the evil in him, and I parallel like the students that he had. He was a teacher.
He was
and
a teacher.
How some of the students said he was like icky, and other ones said he was wonderful. Meanwhile, before he killed Joan, he was stalking. He was stalking some of the students, and nobody did anything about it.
Cheerleaders, right? You were telling you mentioned in one of our interviews that he was stalking cheerleaders. Now, Now here's the thing. He
Yeah.
he he admitted to murdering Joan, didn't he? Because he thought he was going to get a lesser sentence. So these people
No,
that are
he
going to
admitted it. He admitted the murder, but not the rape. Then after,
oh
yeah,
oh
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
okay, I didn't know
And
that.
he
So
used to say, "Now I'm going to go. I have to go to the parole board for the first time. I have to sell my story."
mm,
That's what's written in the letter. Yeah, I have
yeah,
to sell my
he
story.
did say that. Oh my goodness, really?
And
So
he
now
was very good at it because he was a very, this was a bright man. You know.
yes. Well, he was right. He was a science teacher, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Chemistry,
Yeah.
chemistry or
Yeah.
science. I don't know, one or the other.
Mhm.
But he was a
Mhm.
sick individual.
Chemistry. Yeah.
Chemistry. He was a sick individual who should not spend a day in jail, who should have
No, he was
been
evil, honey. He was evil.
right,
He was
but he
evil.
should have been executed from day one. As far as I believe, I'm a firm believer in capital punishment. Maybe people are out there aren't, but if everything points to that person, I know you hear, well, there's people in jail that have gone exonerated because no, this man was evil. He was satanic. He should have been executed the first week he was in jail, or somebody should
Well,
have
there
done it.
was capital punishment in '72, and
Why didn't he get it?
until '72, and it was changed. It was changed
Oh,
in
in the state
'72.
of New Jersey.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And and he killed Joan in what year?
'73, in April of '73.
Isn't that so? He missed it by 1 year. Do you think he would have gotten the chair?
Maybe there was a reason for that, though. You see,
Yes.
all this
Yes.
story, this life, this this life, this was all meant to, supposed to be. I don't know, but maybe that was it, and it had to change society. And I think that her
did.
story, as it gets more known, is going to bring this idea of hope and love, and don't hate, but yet the other person is held accountable, and we just don't stay quiet. We stand up, because by standing up and really doing what you believe in for the right thing, even though you're taking a risk and you might be
Yes.
hurt.
Yes.
That's what is the most important thing, everyone.
So true.
And then you'll see in the book, there were a couple of times I didn't know I was going to live at the hands of my family. Okay? Because they didn't want me doing this work to help
Other children,
to have
and
Joan
parents.
out there, helping the people, and I was going to be her voice. And you
And you
see that.
were.
Meanwhile, he was always protected. You'll see in the letters, he was being protected in prison, and I didn't have anybody protecting. My own family, was assaulting me, and I could have been killed.
You mean
But
he
I
was
wasn't
protected?
supposed to be killed because I had all
No.
this work to do, and I had
You
Michael
were-
and John.
And your lovely sons, Michael and John,
Yes,
they're
yes.
wonderful. Now, when you
Yes.
say he was protected in jail because he was living in the jail system,
He was put in a very safe place, a room building, which is part of Trenton, but that's like the place where it's like protected custody, okay? And that's a nice, clean place. That's the place that you have
Why?
more peace there. He even had a window in his cell. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
oh, but now how many years did he live in the penitentiary? How long did he live in jail, in the penitentiary?
He lived. He only died 2 years ago. And I have to tell you, everyone, something amazing happened on that day that showed the light. The darkness, he died that day. And the light came up the same day, which I didn't know. I found out 3 days later that, the killer had died. But the day of, it was June 5th, 2021. That day I found out that there was a heart-shaped rock that was in the ground, only about 10 feet where Joan's head was put, her whole body. It was there for thousands of years. I'm getting a geologist now and trying to see, how many years, but it was there years. Oh, gosh, you couldn't count them. And it was a heart-shaped rock.
Isn't that amazing?
The point of it was wiggling, my friend was cleaning up with this other friend, and he's an excavator. He couldn't leave the rock. He kept on wiggling the rock, got it out of the dirt, and that was the same point I was there when Joan's body was there, and it was a heart-shaped rock on the same day.
How that was
that's
so meant
the
to
light.
be.
Joan's light is that strong.
And that's how strong it was. And that's the day that the universe was rid of this
Of the
disgusting
darkness. That
this
darkness.
disgusting
That
thing.
darkness.
Now, we have a few minutes left, Rosemarie. Where can people purchase the book, please? How many chapters?
Okay, now
is
where
it?
you could get the book, you could go on to Joan's Joy, JOANS, JOY.org, and then you can order the book there, and then it'll come, I'll get the order, it'll come to my house, and you'll save $30 by doing it that way, because Amazon is $30 more. And then, you tell us you want a hard copy, soft copy, and then what we will do is send it over to you, and then you'll even have a bookmark, like a special bookmark. And I could autograph, I could sign it for you. You tell me what name you want, and I could write something in it. And then, and the book is like, say, if you get it with us, and it's 50. The hard copy is like it's a very big book. It's 6 pounds.
Wow.
And it has like almost 1,000 pages in it.
Wow.
It's like about $58 around there, and the soft cover is about $49 around there.
Okay.
And then
it has
that's where you could get it. Or you could get it on
836.
Amazon. Some people have gotten it on Amazon, even
Really?
from Germany. People have ordered it from Germany.
So the book starts with darkness and ends with light and has many unexpected and intriguing occurrences. And it's available on jonesjoy.org. And as you said, at a discount and signed by you, Rosemarie, you can send it to them. And it's an index of 65 significant letters that covers topics such as facing my child's killer, the Girl Scouts after Joan's death, and going for justice, and the legislation as you paralleled your life, and photos and whatever. This book sounds amazing. I'm sure it's going to be a bestseller, Rosemarie.
It's just, you don't even know the parts. I mean, I didn't tell you. You'll see what's in the prologue.
You'll come back.
It's
You'll come
like
back on the
thrilling.
show.
It's just thrilling. It's like a thriller when you read the prologue.
And how long
You'll
did this
see
book
what you
take
find
you?
out.
How long did this
Yeah.
book take you to write, Rosemarie?
It took me 20 months with the help of John, who assisted me at the internet, and with Michael, who did, like, for instance, make sure all those letters are clear. So, very, very, very technical, that part. But, tremendous work from both of them.
And it's called The Message of Light Amid Letters of
Light.
Darkness.
Amid letters of darkness, and guess what? And light prevails.
And light prevails. Rosemary, God bless you. Blessings to you, Michael and John. And please, you'll come back and we're going to explain some of the chapters, okay? People would
Okay,
love to
and
hear it.
thank you for having me on.
Always
Very,
a pleasure.
very special.
Always a pleasure, Rosemary. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the boys. And don't
Thank
forget
you. Happy Thanksgiving.
the Message of Light Amid Letters of Darkness. You can get it. Thank you so much, Rosemary. Blessings to you. And have a great
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanksgiving.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. It's close. That from President Biden about an agreement between Hamas and Israel to release